Alright. Okay, so let's see. Let us start with a recap of what happened last time. Actually, the recap's going to be a little more than that, because I want you guys to go into what you did during the downtime. So let's start with a recap of what you actually did during the last session, and then we'll go into what you guys did off camera, so to speak.
Starting my notes.
And while somebody's recapping, everybody go and roll your icon relationships.
Okay. We have escaped from Tormax.
No, just turn it down.
Okay, I'm having a request to hold the recap for a moment. Oh, never mind. She can hear me. Alright, so we have successfully escaped and gotten away from Tormax family holding.
Not Tormax.
Or, I'm sorry, Bryn Mars. I was looking at Tormac's icons.
I was worried that Tormac had somehow, like, in the meantime, had usurped my family's holdings.
What we don't know is that
Not for lack of trying.
Bryn has died, and unfortunately he was the last of his clan, so he left everything to Tormac, his gay lover.
Whoa.
This extreme amount of poetic license being taken by the robot with no soul.
Yep.
Or dubious soul, as it turns out. We learned something interesting about each of us and very, very cryptic during our last fight in the holding. Kind of pocket dimension-ish. And have made our way through various annoyances, none of which involving squirrels, to Forge. Bryn was rather emphatic about Tormac specifically behaving while in Forge, and Cinder kind of added a small amount of axe head to his arguments.
Yeah, you missed out on that, Joy Cato. There was no mistaking the message. Don't screw around. I know people here.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, it's okay out in the wild, but, like, I have to work with these folks.
Wait, I can't screw around? Well, fuck that shit. Bye, guys.
Your ass doesn't routinely kill people.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. I just get drunk.
Sitting out there on the flats of her feet, hugging her knees, drawing something in the dust outside of Forge.
No, I just get drunk and have sex with people. I don't kill them.
The Tormac puts people, and then those people die.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And Tormac don't show off your ass, or is that... Yeah, that's Tormac.
That's part of the whole... It's like on the Black Widow, the little red hourglass. That's what Tormac's ass is. It's a warning.
Stay away. I know it's pretty. Stay away.
Yeah, it's nature simultaneously saying, "Please come here," and at the same time going, "No, go away."
So it's like the spotted frogs.
I've got some stuff to add on the recap when you're all done there. If you don't cover it, Lloyd.
I pretty much broad-stroked everything that I could remember. I didn't write a whole lot in. Apparently we found Motor.
Who?
I wrote M-O-T-O-R, Motor. So apparently we found Motor.
Mogor? Is that what it's supposed to say?
That's probably Mogor.
Or Motor.
But,
How much did you drink, Lloyd?
Given your grasp of the English language, I wouldn't be surprised if you did write Motor.
Maybe we discovered the internal combustion engine and should be celebrated.
So you're in for upgrades, is what you're saying.
Call me Hot Rod.
No.
God damn it. Why is there...
So is that the extent of your recap? Lloyd?
Say again? I'm sorry. Heather was talking to me.
Of your recap?
More or less. I mean, after we start telling about what we're doing in Forge, I was going to add to what I'm doing in Forge, but I mean, that's the broad strokes highlights.
All right. Does anybody want to add to the recap before we go on?
Okay. Yeah, I'll add a little bit because I know we didn't have everybody there. I think we were missing you, Kato, particularly last session.
Yes.
So once we had defeated Mogor and we went back down, we gave Mogor's head over. We got our keys. We got the we got to go and go to the prisoners. Particularly, it looks like Vela or Vila was someone of interest. I believe that was to Bryn.
Vela was the blacksmith's daughter.
The blacksmith's daughter. And one interesting thing to point out about that is when we questioned her, she states that she was captured out of a caravan and everybody else was killed. So that really points towards it was a directed hit. They knew what caravan they wanted, they knew who they were looking for, and everybody else was just they didn't need them. We also came across a female half-elf by the name of Amada Sardo. Tormac.
That is not.
I think that might be a little bit. I think it might be a little bit meta. So I don't want you to take this as. I don't want you to take this as knowing it in character, because I don't think Tormac specifically ever told anybody, but she was. He recognized the Sardo name as a sort of gangster or mafioso family. She kind of has. She definitely has a lot of self-importance about her, an air of self-importance. So we didn't really talk to her very much, aside from her just saying, "You know who I am," and then we kind of left it at that. We did get a full rest. This is for you, Kato, so that you can recover everything.
Thank you.
We decided to grab everybody and take them back to Forge. So we kind of had skill challenges along the way. So a couple things that we did is we each basically started a challenge and then ended each individually. We would start a challenge and then the next person would come up with a solution and then start another challenge. So we kind of passed that along.
Okay.
So we noticed folks were getting falling behind. So then the solution was we got them sticks and to help them walk and slowed our pace a little bit. Then we came across bears. Hipster bears apparently was the thing that we came up with. But the non-hibernating types apparently, since we're in the dead of winter, they were
slept before it was cool.
They were chased off, and I use heavy quotations on that, by Tormac.
That's bad.
Then we were crossing a river, and we had the river crack, and a few people nearly plunged into the icy waters. I took everybody in a roundabout but safer path. And then finally, we came across some people. We didn't know if they were. We know they were walking on two legs, but we didn't know who or what they were. We actually managed to avoid those individuals, so that ultimately got us back to Forge. I think that's pretty much the sum of my notes.
Those are pretty extensive notes there.
That sounds all right. Any other remarks or comments on the recap? I would take that as a no then. How is it sound?
Smell or sound?
Sound.
I unplugged my headphones and plugged them into a new port and then plugged them back again.
That might be it. Anyway, so let's see. Lloyd, do you want to go into what Cinder saw specifically?
Song.
Assuming you actually read the email I sent you.
I haven't checked my email in better than 24 hours. So.
No, I sent this email last week.
Oh, hi, looky there.
So I take it you did not read that then.
Not yet. Reading now.
The unread one.
Well, that answers my question, what I was supposed to do with the email.
Anyway, so why don't we start with Bryn then? Bryn, what have you done in Forge?
So immediate plan of returning to Forge. The first priority was to get the various prisoners that we liberated back to their families or their homes or whatever. So because Vela I promised her father that we would return her. I made sure that that she could get home safely and whatnot. And she is going to stay with a friend before leaving to go back to Greenvale. And Layla, who is Metasail's friend, I would also be certain to escort her back to her family or her home or whatever, because she is in my clan. So as sort of like my charge at this point, because of clan duties and whatnot. And she lives over in Silver Peak, so I would take Metasail with me over to Silver Peak, meet with her family, return her safely, and whatnot. So those are a couple of things, and then of course the rest of the prisoners, making sure that they have get back to where they need to go and whatnot. That's basically what Bryn was doing when we first got back to Forge.
Yeah, for the most part, most of the prisoners were able to make their own way once you guys got back to Forge. I know that you specifically wanted to make sure that Vela was okay, and I know that the Monosail. I think you said you wanted to go to for Layla. She was part of your plan. What was that? Okay.
Someone likes to whistle, apparently.
Yeah,
Oh,
clearly.
no. Sorry, that was somebody left a message on my phone. I apologize.
Okay. All right, and then we will do more with Bryn after we've gotten everybody else caught up. Monosail, you just wanted to take Layla back. Brandy, what was Delana doing?
Delana and Cinder got into a little debate on how they were going to complete their mission, the one that had them on this particular team. They need to find emissaries of the Archmage, specifically the Sisters of the Unseeing Eye, if possible, and to let them know about the Soul Forge. Delana's reasoning is that if she hangs out in the bars long enough, she'll find somebody. She also is kind of curious as to what his name always escapes me. Just a second, I'll find it.
Julian.
Union, yes, what he was doing in the area. So Delana is headed off to the bars to gather information about the Sisters of the Unseeing Eye, of the Unblinking Eye. Excuse me.
The Order of the Unblinking Eye.
Order of the Unblinking Eye. Thank you. And Yenian. And then she's probably going to hit up a blacksmith or two to get some lessons. Because she needs help.
Okay. Actually,
To answer your question, no, I am not going to tell the rest of the party.
Okay.
Oh shit! Now you gotta tell us.
And I am all the more interested in finding the Order of the Unblinking Eye.
Okay.
Because I have some very pertinent questions I need to ask, some very important questions I need to ask.
Well, in that respect, you can't find anything about the Order of the Unblinking Eye in specific, but it does appear from what you guys are hearing in bars and from merchants and the like that the Archmage does have has a representative in town and has been for the last probably 6 weeks. Nobody knows exactly what they're here for, but they're here to consult with the Dwarf King about something. They're being it's kind of an ambassadorial entourage. They're being kept in Gold Peak, so nobody's really seen them that often. But rumors are going around that they are here. So, and rumors are consistent enough that you think they're probably correct. The order is probably more difficult, and you'll probably need to make some more effort to find them specifically. Brandy, as far as Union, you ask around, and you hear a lot of stories about tieflings that have come through, but none of them are specific enough to know whether they are Union or not.
That was about as helpful as that bunch of rocks. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's you haven't seen the guy in a while, and you don't know what he's dressed like. You don't know what he's doing here, so you can't give a lot more information. You can't give out the information needed to verify that any of these tieflings.
Well, wait a minute. Didn't we see him at Bryn's homestead? Not more than. No, we heard about him. We heard about him.
Heard about him. So you didn't see him specifically.
That's correct.
So given enough time, you might be able to find some leads, but you might need to collect more information first before you can get more information back out. Sounds like someone's typing. If someone's typing on their phone, I would request that they stop doing so.
You may just be hearing my keyboard typing. I apologize. I'm taking notes.
It could be, but it sounds digital. It sounds like the kind of electronic keyboard you get on your phone, but I don't know. It could be your typing. Brandy and Lloyd, roll your icon relationships.
Thank you. Waiting for permission.
Yeah, I already said we just
a while ago.
had neglected.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
6 on Dwarf King.
5 on the Crusader. Yay!
Let's see. Also, I'll do anything.
Can I go ahead and just use that 6 right up front and say what I want to use it for?
What do you want to use it for?
I'd like to be able to use it to try to use some of my old contacts, especially higher up in the houses of nobles or anything like that, to try to be able to find and get in contact with the Archmage's emissaries. And preferably if I could get just like a word with them, be able to talk to them directly. If I can't manage that, at least get a note to them, like a full parchment letter.
That can be done. That can be. They pretty much tell you that they can't guarantee that they will meet with you, but you've got enough pull with the right people to get a message to them, and if a message is returned, it'll go through those same contacts. So they say to give it a couple or 3 days to hear one way or the other. Because it'll just take a little bit of time to get that note to them without being noticed overtly.
All right.
But it can be done. It will be done. It just might take a little bit to hear back.
Do I need to hand them the message right now, or can I like go write it and come back?
You've got some time to write it. I mean, As long as it's something you can write in like an hour, it's not a problem.
Okay. I want to be able to touch base with Delana at the very least, and the rest of the team if possible.
Okay, that shouldn't be a problem. Are you going to touch base with them before you write it or after?
Before.
Okay. You can get a hold of one of them if who you're getting in contact with before you have to write.
How far flown are we that we can't talk to each other?
Well, the fact is that Cinder was going to make contact with these people. Bryn was going around to escort people back to where they were supposed to be. Monosail was going with him for at least a couple of those. You were going bar diving. So you're all in the same general area, but it's not a situation where you can go, well, I know exactly where this person is right at this time and able to get a message to them. So you can guaranteed get a hold of one person, Cinder. Who is it going to be?
Delana.
Okay.
And Delana, essentially what I'm wanting to write to the Archmage right now is the existence of the Soul Forge, the conclusion of our mission, our current location in Forge, and a combination of advice that the orcs are mobilizing and advisement that some kind of alliances might need to be restructured or reinforced to combat the Orc Lord.
Okay.
Does all that sound good to you, Delana?
Alright, depends. How much are you rubbing in that you got to him before I could find him in the bar? Do we need to specifically talk to the Order of the Unblinking Eye about payment?
I think that would be advisable. I think that we could put something in the letter about. We'd also like to be able to speak with our benefactor about the completion of our mission and the assets promised us.
Perfect.
Metagaming moment from Aaron. Does any of that sound impertinent, impetuous, the kind of thing that we wouldn't want to send one of the 10 great creatures of the world?
The only thing I will say about it is that you might want to think about who else might be seeing this on the way.
I don't think it's, okay, I see what you're saying.
I think that probably the best
I think we
course.
just want to say that we would like to find out how we can contact the Order of the Unblinking Eye.
Yeah,
leave it at that. To follow up with the Order of the Unblinking Eye because they gave us the mission.
Yeah. New developments have arisen.
Exactly.
Okay. So having said that, what exactly are you sending? Just to make sure we're all on the same page.
Sending a message that says, we have reached Forge. There have been developments in the case that need to be brought to the Order's attention, and either we would appreciate either a rendezvous being set up, or the only thing that I can think of to term it is a next action step. What is either to request them to come and find us, or to send a messenger to let us know where we need to go to find them.
Alright, that sounds reasonable.
Okay. And I might include an amusing little anecdote about spitting chicken.
I don't think the Archmage would be impressed.
Yeah, but if somebody's going to read this, I want them to get a little chuckle out of it and know that I'm a ferocious spitter.
Okay.
Delana glares at you for that last line. Goes back to her beer.
Okay. So I know, Delana, you wanted to meet with the blacksmith from your background, and I know.
Well, no. Well, not the one from my background, no.
I thought that was the one from your background. But
No. Or I was under the impression, and I apologize because I think I was confused. The young lady that we rescued from the dungeon, I thought her father was in Forge.
oh no, he's in Greendale.
That's
He
what
had-
I was talking about.
Yeah, they were friends of the family in Forge, and that's who you were delivering them to. Okay. So I guess that leaves Bryn, your Lord Keepers. Is anybody going to go with Bryn to meet them, the Lord Keepers?
Well, I assume since we were running around together anyway, maybe I wasn't running around with him through all of his deliveries, so to speak. But since I was going to take Layla personally, like there was no way around it. I was hand delivering her back to her home. So I assume we may linger together for a little while. So I guess if Bryn doesn't have a problem with it.
No.
So while I do that, I want Lloyd and Brandy to figure out how much money everybody has. And then I want everybody to, if they want to do shopping, I want them to kind of figure it out now.
Wait, why Lloyd and Brandy when Monastery has...
Because you're uninvolved in this scene at the moment.
Oh, gotcha.
And the fact that you are both in the same place, so you can mute yourselves and still speak. So, it's just a practical matter, not anything more than that.
Could everybody that has money and a wish list please type it into the chat so that we can kind of get that rolling?
Okay. So the headquarters of the Lore Keepers is in Silver Peak. It's in one of the. It's in an area that's referred to as Gold Peak within Silver Peak. It's harder to get into, and frankly, if you weren't a member of the Order, even you, Bryn, probably wouldn't be allowed in, and Monticello would definitely not be allowed anywhere nearby. But because you are a member of Order, you're able to get through here. The headquarters of the Order is functionally a giant library / vault. It is not a standalone structure. You have to go through several very secure doors and gates to get inside. And again, if it weren't for the fact that you're a member in good standing, you probably wouldn't be able to get in very far inside, and Monticello would be left at the door. But as it is, you are able to get inside. A few people that you haven't seen in ages nod as you walk past. None of them are particularly close friends, no relations, or even partners in any sense of the word. But they're people that you've known, that you've worked with, that you've done things with as part of the Lore Keepers, and they welcome you back because it's been quite a while since you've been here. How long has it been, Bryn? How long has it been since you've been in the headquarters?
That's a good question. Probably. So it's winter now, right? And these are like standard seasons, just like ours. So there's like 12 months in a year, or something like that. Is that fair to say? I would say I probably went out in the spring. So it's been at least 6 months, if not, a little bit longer.
Oh, I thought it had been years. I thought you hadn't been back here for like a decade or more.
Oh no, I was assuming it wasn't as far, but maybe it's been. I guess it could be a couple of years.
Yeah, I think
That's fine.
it has to be more than 6 months.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah, they haven't seen you in a couple of years. There's some new faces you haven't seen, some old faces looking a little more gray and haggard around the edges, but for the most part, it's the same old lore keepers that you've known and worked with for most of your life.
And can you describe the environment one more time for me?
It's the area the public area that you're in right now is basically a giant library. This is
Okay.
the less secure texts, the ones that people, in theory, from outside the order can come and examine or have copied or be researched.
Okay. So one of the things I need to look for is I need to find a scribe or something, someone like that, in order to copy basically the notes I've accumulated while I was in my travels. So I need to pass that off.
There are scribes all around. You can flag one down.
So that's one of the things I'll do, and I'll pass off my basically a book of lore that I've been keeping, that have them catalog it and add it to the records of lore keepers. And
they say you'll be notified when it's completed, but given the volume of notes that you've taken, it'll probably be several weeks, if not several months.
Yeah, that would make sense. And ultimately, I am looking for my mentor to talk with him, but he may or may not be around right at the moment. And I'll be damned if I can remember what his name is.
I don't remember offhand either.
Let me bring up my other notes here. But I need to meet with. If I don't meet with him, I just need to meet with some of the more senior members in the order, some of my colleagues that are on the same level, and sort of discuss what's been happening over the past, while I've been on my walkabout, as it were.
Okay. It's probably best to go through your mentor. He's
Okay.
the one most likely to set aside time to come in.
So I will look around and I will ask if anyone's seen Tillawan.
It takes a little bit to kind of work up the chain, but eventually you do find somebody who's seen him recently. He's in one of the our research areas.
Okay.
One of the research libraries. And it's not terribly hard to find him. Monosail does have to wait behind, but he can kind of he can look around the semi-public area and see if there's anything of interest to him there. It's entirely possible that somebody will stop Monosail and ask him if what he's doing there, and maybe even ask him if he can help contribute to some nature-related mystery that's about. So
I'll suggest to Monosail that that my brothers would be particularly interested to hear about his ability to change form. That skin-changing magic might be of interest to my brothers if he's willing to talk to them about it.
that's true.
I'll nod. I'm willing to speak of it, but not much else. I'm willing to demonstrate.
Okay. They'll happily take whatever they can get, because they can always grow more from there. So, in the meantime, Bryn, it doesn't take too long for you to get to where your mentor is, and you get into the library, and he's the only one here. It looks like he's rented the place or held the place for the day, and he's looking over a large tome, and there are several several others that are unopened, as well as several scrolls and scroll tubes sitting nearby.
I clear my throat and I say, reading something interesting, old friend?
Ah, Bryn! It's been a while, and yet you never write. He gets up and he gets you in a hug, which normally he wouldn't do that. It's kind of inappropriate, but since you're in a relatively private place, he's more willing to do something like that.
Fair enough. I write plenty, it just ends up in my book, and...
Yeah, you see, I can't read your book until you come back, so you know. Anyway, what brings you back here? It's been, God, what has it been, a year and a half?
It's been some time. I've been out in the world, as they say. Spent some time in Osis. Discovered all sorts of strange magics there, which I'll have to tell you about some other time.
It's been some time since I've been to Osis. I really need to go out and walk about more often myself. I get so wrapped up in things here that I forget what the outside world has to offer.
Well, the halls of Forge are quite a splendor, but the outside world does have some niceties to it, I suppose. It is good to be home.
I agree. So how long are you going to be here? Are you planning on spending a while?
Probably. It depends on a great many things, actually. Some of which I've actually come to talk to you about.
I imagine that the thing with your family has to take priority over what we're doing here at the Lore Keepers, so that I completely understand.
I ask him if, are we alone? Is this a private place?
He looks at you kind of sidelong and kind of questioningly and says, just a moment. He closes the door, and you can see a glowing rune appear on the door very briefly and then fade away. And then he says, anybody listening in on us now will alert us at this point. You say you have something you don't wish to share with our brethren?
I have a great many things to talk about and questions that I'm not even sure how to phrase the questions, but the first I wish to discuss, are you familiar with the Balden Ruins? It's an old ruin quite a ways to the east of here, near a small town. Does the name sound familiar to you at all?
He goes over to one of the shelves, pulls out a map, and pointed out on the map. Maybe that'll help jog my memory.
So I indicate to him, and I say that the ruins themselves are not terribly descript, and I think they've been forgotten for quite some time. It's what we found underneath them that was incredibly distressing. And I sort of lower my voice.
Yeah, I cannot say that I remember them specifically, but I think I have heard of them. What is it exactly that you found underneath?
Do you recall the stories of the Soul Forge? The Soul Forges?
The Chadmarat?
Yes.
Of course.
I found one. Or it.
You're certain?
I'm quite certain.
So,
Molten lava, giant forge, weapons made from the souls of sentient beings.
with the weapons. I heard some rumors of weapons and armor and other equipment that were unlike any that had been seen in ages. Unusual metal, and that no metallurgist in our order could identify. And I'd heard that the amber shards had been Well, it's part of why the Amber Shards are kicking up a fuss right now, but I hadn't seen any for myself, and there was no reason to feel that it was a soul forge. So you're saying that it really is a soul forge involved?
There is, or there was. It's perhaps now buried under the ruins at Balden, but
Buried? What happened?
well, and I sort of give him a synopsis of how we went to there and how we found any number of Durgar there, and I tell him about basically the fight underneath there and the living dungeon that made its way up and cut us off as we left the Soul Forge, and that we attempted some process to attempt us to spoil the forge or make it less useful if it were to stay intact. And I also produce. I have a letter from the ruins from the Orc Lord or from one of his agents that basically incriminate. It's the incriminating evidence that says that the Orc Lord is sort of somehow involved with this, that he was providing slaves or whatever.
My friend, I don't think you realize that you handed me a match, and we're all sitting on a tinderbox of epic fortunes. Kept abreast of what's been going on in Forge?
It's been such a time since I've been to Forge. I haven't kept up with the news.
Have you spoken to your family since you've gotten in?
I haven't. I had things I needed to take care of. Coming to here first, of course. It was on the way.
Well, my brother, you have a seat. We need to catch up very quickly, otherwise you are about to land in a world of problems. The Dwarf King has been not necessarily missing, but he has been seen by his subjects less and less. The Council of Stone has taken over, accordingly, more of the day-to-day operations of Forge. Lloyd, please stop updating your character sheet.
Huh? Oh. Sorry.
Anyway, what's that? The Council of Stone has accordingly taken over more of the day-to-day role in keeping Forge operating as it should be. The problem is that right now the Council of Stone is deadlocked. The Amber Shards and their allies have made a play for power, and your clan in part has helped to keep them from taking more. But truth be told, we are a single spark away from a civil war here in Forge.
Civil war?
Yeah. The Amber Shards and their allies have been working, they've been building up their military force. You know how I spoke of the weapons that you say came from the Soul Forge? The truth of the matter is that Amber Shard cronies and mercenaries have been spotted wielding these increasingly often in recent months. And not always just in making threats. There's actually been skirmishes and ambushes and battles in the areas surrounding Forge. Clan holdings have been fought over and raided. Your father went to I don't know all the details since I'm not a member of your clan, but the rumors are that your father went to the northwest to investigate an Amber Shard. I suppose it was an Amber Shard fortress, a new one being built on your clan's land, or at least close to it. And your father and his retainers were ambushed, and many of your clan soldiers were killed in that battle. Your father came out of it alive, but as I hear it, he's gravely injured. And since he was one of the members of the Council of Stone, that has made things only the more tense. And as now the Amber Shards are pushing even harder to take more control with their allies. There's even been rumors that they've been making attempts to have the Dwarf King declared unfit for the throne. And if that came to be, the Council of Stone would have a great say in who became the next Dwarf King. And if the Amber Shards and their allies are in charge of the Council of Stone, well, I don't think I need to spell things out any further in that respect.
And so I just don't really say anything for a minute, just kind of trying to process everything he's just dumped in my lap.
I'm sorry to have ruined your homecoming with this, but it's something you need to know. This evidence that the Amber Shards are working with the Orc Lord, selling these weapons to the Orc Lord, that could turn some of their allies against them, but it also means that you have an enormous target painted on your back, even more than you would have as a member of the Clan Mar. They will kill you and ensure that you cannot be revived if they have even a hint that you know something about this. Even knowing about the Soul Forge is enough to, I'm sure, have them send assassins after you.
I don't know who to turn to. That's why I came to you. That's why I wanted to show you this letter. I can't trust the council.
No, I'm afraid you cannot. It's a good thing that you came to me first. Most of our brethren are neutral in these sorts of clan fights and political intrigues, but I'm sure you know that some of our brothers and sisters have ties to the Amber Shards or their allies, and if they were to hear about this, well, you might not survive the night.
Grave news. It just keeps getting worse.
Things have been chaotic here at Forge, and I'm afraid they're only going to get worse before they get better.
Well, having heard what you said, I need to proceed to my family as quickly as possible then. If my father is the way you say he is, I need to be by his side.
I will keep your secret, but I think you are right. You need to inform your family of this as quickly as possible. If you can find a way to bring this to the Council of Stone, you might break the Amber Shard's hold on power. But it might be more difficult than you think.
Well, I appreciate your counsel. I have one more issue to ask your advice on, and you don't have to answer me now, but it's been troubling me. And I go on to tell him real briefly about the dreams I've been having, and I just want to tell him that I've had these dreams and ask him what he thinks they could mean, and he doesn't have to tell me now.
As soon as you start talking about your dreams, he turns completely pale. I mean, even by dwarf standards, he looks on the verge of fainting, and he kind of slumps over like you have deflated him. You're 100% sure that these are the things you're seeing in your dream.
They were very vivid, as if I was standing there myself.
Well,
Do these places exist? I've never come across them in my years here as a lore keeper.
Bryn, you are privy to the Hall of Vengeance. Is that not right?
It is.
But there are 12 other dwarven halls.
12
Like-
other?
For security's sake, nobody is permitted to know more than the one they're familiar with exists. Even within the lore keepers, most people are aware that there's only one hall, and each of them are aware of a different hall. But there are 13 in total, and even I cannot say what are inside all 13. As high as I am within the order, even I am not privy to that knowledge. But if you say that you've had dreams that they have been pillaged or attacked, then we need to inquire. We need to... And you say that the Hall of Vengeance seemed intact?
As far as I have seen, yes. But I don't know if these are premonitions. They're certainly not memories. I've never been to these other places.
No, you would have had no way to have gone to them. If anybody had known you'd even heard of more than the Hall of Vengeance, you would have been slain on the spot. When you finished with your family, I ask that you return here, and together we will go to the Hall of Vengeance.
Okay, my brother.
I know that the items, the information, the things kept inside these halls, these vaults, if somebody were to get their hands on them, it could mean not just the end of Forge, not just the end of the Dwarf King, or the Dragon Empire. It could mean the end of the world as we know it. So, after you've spoken with your family, sometime in the next few days, I ask you return, and we will go there together. If you have friends you can trust for life,
Oh no, my mentor has been killed. I wish I could see Aaron in full screen the same way his little tiny icon is, because it's kind of amusing on my screen.
His icons froze.
Yeah.
Is he not with us right now?
I'm
Right.
guessing
Hilarious.
he lost his connection.
Yeah.
Okay, can I ask you guys a quick question about the money situation here?
Yep.
So I have a note, like I have on my character sheet what I have, but then I have two notes about like additional, I'm guessing group money that we got. one of which was for 2 gold, 17 silver, and 74 copper. I think we got that most recently.
Uh-huh.
Do you have that
Yes.
in your...
Manisteel added that in.
Yeah, I added that in. So so just to put you in the same on the same field here, what I did is I took that money that you just quoted right there. That's what we found in the room where each of us got our unique items, as well as what Cinder added in, which sounded like it was from a previous a previous horde of dungeon loot. We added the two together.
Mine was more or less just the combined lootings of everything that we have killed since I joined the group.
Okay.
Because I've been a dutiful little rogue and been looting everything that we kill.
True mercenary.
All right, so
so that gave me a total of about 5 gold, 7 silver, 8 copper, and that was like the total that was just like total just dungeon loots, not counting personal money.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure that got added in there, and I'm going to cross it off my sheet because I'm assuming that after things get spent, we'll just redistribute or something.
Sounds like a good idea. Did you see the note about how we're splitting up the items that we found?
No, I didn't. That's from the 2 encounters ago or whatever.
Yes, here, I'll copy it, repost it.
Okay, I haven't gotten a chance to read through the thing because obviously I was talking. So.
And you're getting an in addition to on this, Kato. So you're getting a stone meal whey bread, but you're also getting the scroll of Mage Hand because I kind of thought about it character wise. Anasail wouldn't be too interested in the scroll, so let you have the scroll.
Oh, I forgot about that scroll. Okay, so I'm taking a stone meal and
whey bread. Yeah, and the scroll of Mage Hand.
Okay, I'll put those on my sheet here.
Just so that you know, are you aware of what the stone meal does?
I don't remember, but I'm assuming it's linked on the wiki.
It is, but just to summarize real quick you don't have to go look. It you eat it and it gives you back 1 recovery.
Oh,
that's cool. Are only permitted to eat 1 every full rest up, though. So a very valuable item, but has limited use because it's poison, I guess, if you eat more than 1 at a time.
Gotcha. Okay.
It may or may not have a little note on it that says "Eat me."
I think it does.
Just like all of our health potions may or may not have a little note on them that says "Drink me."
Say "Drink me," yeah.
This end up.
I'm pretty sure I saw those notes.
And we are definitely going to wind up buying more. I'm buying at least 2 health potions. Probably 3.
If we've got a little bit of money left, I didn't want to be. I kind of came into this with really just what I came on my back. That's kind of why my list is a little long. I would say 3 potions and some other small trappings. If we've got any additional cash left, I've got this grand plan to try tying alchemical vials to throwing axes. So if we can get some alchemical vials with anything left, I wouldn't mind a selection so I can experiment.
Okay.
Power drop. I lost power completely. I'm getting everything back on.
Interesting. I stay away from alchemical vials anymore because there were some mishaps.
Accidents happened.
I think that I proved very thoroughly that I am not to be trusted with alchemical vials.
That's not good.
Alright.
Anyway, I'm trying to get best
Apparently
back
I
up.
throw like a girl.
Yes, you do. Actually, no, that's an insult to girls.
I can't figure out. I have another note on my character sheet for 2 gold, 7 silver, and 35 copper, and I'm wondering if that's just the same.
Already
as
accounted for.
Yeah, if it's the same as this 2 gold, 17 silver, and 74 copper, but converted. So this 2 gold is a fair amount.
No, I don't care, W Raider. Shut up.
Oh, let's see what this says. Hey, it's an Aaron!
It is. I've been here for like 3 or 4 minutes. Nobody's listening to me.
What are you doing right now?
I see his mouth moving.
Hello?
Try now.
Anyone?
Never.
I only see the rune of Wolf Samurai.
Oh yeah, he has showed up on mine, and he's showing his displeasure with.
Since we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, I'm going to use this opportunity to go make with a piss. So
Sure.
Body break! Cinder, did you need me to retype what it is I wanted at the store, or did you get that all?
I think that we need to wait until the current story arc portion is done, because we really can't price anything out until we have Aaron's input.
I just asked if you remembered what I wanted. I want it all, and I want it now.
Thank you, Freddie Mercury. You're already dead. Recoveries will do you no good. I am totally playing an undead lich named Freddie Mercury now.
Thought you were going to try for originality.
Like hell. Originality is plagiarizing from enough sources that nobody can tell where you got it from.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're not very good at that, Lloyd.
Ooh. Damn.
damn, hashtag shots fired.
In fact, you're very...
No. It's an avulsion.
An avulsion fracture?
No. Avulsion is where all of the skin is torn off of a particular part of the body. In this case,
so like what I had on my knee.
In this case, the finger